Hello, my Aries collective sun, moon, rising signs. How you doing? You ready for your what do I need read for a full moon to new moon next? A full moon is this Saturday coming up, the 14th, and the new moon is pretty much exactly 2 weeks later on the 28th, right? It's supposed to do that anyway. Sometimes you get a day later because of where the degrees fall, but actually we're looking at a 2-week cycle pretty much on the nose. So I don't know if these are going to be quickies. You're my first one. Every time I do one of these zodiacal series, they always start me off with Aries, obviously. And sometimes it changes, sometimes it doesn't, but it feels like this time it's going to be a little different, that I'm going to be pulling clarifiers. They told me to pull clarifiers on this as needed. So usually it's just one from each deck that I work with, depending on the decks I am working with, what I'm guided to work. So this might be a little bit longer than a quickie, but we'll see. Cool, cool. Now, I just want to say a couple of things about from full moon to new moon. That is the waning side of things. Everybody wants the waxing side, but you need the waning side too. Letting go, right? Now, letting go for me, that definition of that has transformed so many times in this life. Letting go of attachments, let go of attachments. Yeah, but if you don't know how, that's not very hopeful. So that's why these readings are, what do I need? Not what, well, maybe it's what I need to know, but rather than ask, how am I doing? Or where is my lover? Or how do I get the money? Or, any of that. We're just going to ask what do I need? So what do you need, Aries? So we're going to start with Caroline Mace archetype card. And particularly in those last 3 days before new moon, that is dark of the moon, that is when you really go for it. It's the purge time. For myself, it's very emotional, usually emotional purging, but people can drop away, and that means they're supposed to go. It's part of the season. So particularly with this archetype card, it can be very much about what is the lead or the shadow aspect. Shadow work is big in waning moon. A lot of people don't want to look at that. Hence the shadow, right? They want to put it behind them. But that's sometimes the very emotional baggage, the very stuff that may trigger us that we don't want to deal with. But, if it's coming up to be loved. It's something from the past that needs healing, to be embraced. So we'll see how that goes. Cool, cool. So this archetype will give you an indication for the next 2 weeks or so. What's the dominant soul power? So I'm going to ask now. The cards have already been blessed, so they know what I'm asking here. My collective pantheon of angels, gods, and masters. So my collective pantheon of angels, gods, and masters, please. What is the dominant archetype for the Aries collective sun, moon, rising signs for this full moon to new moon next? What is the soul power being alchemized and developed? Oh, the hermit. They're not usually, the hermit is not usually thought of as an Aries type of card because it's cardinal fire, it's expressive. But if you've been really, pushing yourself, if you've been really out there, if your battery needs recharging, there's something there to look at. And I'll address that once I've got some more cards on the table. My angels, please, same thing for the Aries collective. Sun, moon, rising signs, what do they need for this full moon to new moon next, to let go of, to look at, to examine? You show us one card, please, my angels. Okay, so music, always an odd card to get. I mean, by the book, it means that there's something musical going on. Like if you write music, or if you, musician or lyrics or singer or anything like that, to integrate more music into your life. It's a little on the nose for me. I tend to get that when I get it from myself. And again, I want to lay out more cards to clarify this, but it can mean a song that gets stuck in your head has a meaning, or pay attention to the random songs that you overhear on the radio. I get audio tarot all the time. When I drive, I really listen to playlists at home. Sometimes I'll put on, like a cable channel that puts on like 80s music is my favorite, but, soundscapes. When I need to veg out, if you know what I'm talking about, if you have that cable music channel thing going on. Excuse me. By the way, I just got back from Brooklyn this morning for my birthday week. It's such a good time. I'm recuperated. I'm like 85 to 90% recharged, but I'm back, and this recharges me too. So my gods, please, same thing for the Aries collective. Sun, moon, rising signs, what do they need from this full moon to new moon next? Well, there's an Aries card if you ever saw one, right? All that flame, the Ace of Flames, creation. So an ace, a beginning spark of creativity, sexuality. So, you know, music can trigger that certainly, but let's get a couple more down here. Oh, by the way, this is they're all in the box below, but I'm using the Healing with the Angels Oracle by Doreen Virtue, Daughters of the Moon Tarot, which is the round ones, the Love Spezzano, Chuck Spezzano Love Pack, little jumbly there, and of course my new favorite, Whispers of Love. Cool, cool. Go check the links. They're really cool decks. So my masters, please, one card, same thing. This Aries collective, Sun, Moon, Rising signs. What do they need for this full moon to new moon next? Okay, well, lack of self-worth. Now, self is really key with first house sign Aries. So this could be something that's been going on for a while and something that can be waned, meaning let go of, often gradually. And you know, it's really better to let go of things gradually, in my experience as a Virgo with a Pisces moon. And yes, by the way, this full moon is the full moon I was born on, Virgo Sun, Pisces moon. And people are always like, what sign is the full moon in? I'm like, what sun sign are we in? It's opposite, right? I'm not an astrologer, but I speak it semi-fluently. Right? So we've got this Hermit with this music card and this creativity and this lack of self-worth dealio going on. It sounds like the blues, but this is what you need, not where you are. So there has to be a real key here, and I'll throw some clarifiers for this for sure. So my collective pantheon of angels, gods, and masters, give us a whisper of true love. What does this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising sign need for this full moon to new moon next? Be willing to express love. When we express love, we begin to receive more love. Okay, so there really is something there about having the self-worth to express yourself because the vibe is there, right? So what needs to be waned, what needs to be let go of here is, I think we're looking at that lack of self-worth. But if you're waiting for the lack of self-worth to disappear before you express yourself with this bam, new thing, perhaps through music, if that's your deal, but it can also be a thing of knowing that this is a temporary thing, songs are temporary, that it will have a beginning, a middle, and an end to it, and that is it worth the risk. You know, I gotta say, when it comes to expressing love, love is its own reward. I know it's cliche, stitch it on a pillow, grandma, throw it on the couch. But now this is why we're going to look at this Hermit card before I start throwing clarifiers. Every archetype is light and shadow, right? You want to alchemize the shadow into the light, the lead into gold. Light attribute seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. Well, and there we have a match to that card of music and the card of creativity with the card of literally creation in this deck. Shadow attribute withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, refusing to help those in need. Why? Because there's a lack of self-worth. So that, yeah, now remember, we're talking about a 2-week period here. So before I pull one more card, I just want to clarify that yes, absolutely take some time. Get into that Hermit phase. Do you see how the Hermit is sort of like crouched down, almost in a prayer position, but within the structure of a house, right? That you don't have to go off into the woods unless that's your thing. You know, you don't have to go live in a cave. There's a difference between someone in exile and someone in hermitage. Hermitage is of your own free will. And of course, there is the Hermit card in the tarot, which this is not tarot. Had that come up as well, I would say, hold off. So putting that all together, the Hermit with music, with the card of creation, the Ace of Flames, which would be the Ace of Wands, dealing with this lack of self-worth, but yet somehow be willing to express your love, right? Somehow, even if it's to yourself. How about that? What do you need is to begin anew with that peace inside that feels like it is unworthy, which by definition has to be part of the ego, because the soul and the spirit is love, knows it is love. So this could be something that you're healing for the collective as well. Let's clarify this music card, shall we? I just heard you say yes. Let's pull a tarot on that. Please, my gods, can you clarify what this music card is for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising? What do they need with this music from this full moon to new moon next to play, all right? So to play music. You know, that's, I mean, is the most available drug to me is music, right? Drug's probably not the right word. If anything, it doesn't suppress what I'm feeling, but it helps me express it. Like, you know, Joan Jett and the Bad Hearts, and the Bad Hearts and the Black Hearts, when I'm in that bad reputation mood, you know, it just like amplifies me. But certainly there are times when I am feeling a little heartbroken, disappointed, where I will put on some music that I know will trigger me. But I have to tell you, my playlist for the past week for my birthday was mostly go-go's because I just wanted to play and have fun, right? So with this card of play here, I don't feel like this is such a thing of listening to the blues, right? Because lack of self-worth just always to me speaks of the blues, right? Or certain country music artists. I'm not really into country music. It's fine, it's lovely, whatever you're into, but not my genre. So there's something there about with the play, to play with the music, and not just play music. If that's your thing, yeah, express through it. Do that in Hermitage. I don't know that we need another clarifier for that, but what I want is a clarifier for that Ace of Flames. Okay, let's from the angels. Angels, you please clarify this Ace of Flames, this creation card. What is this about for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising? This is about creation of what? What do they need to know about that? Well, self-acceptance, right? So the thing about flames, fire, desire is I kind of have to want to, right? And I want to accept myself. And you know, saying I accept is a step along the way. I accept myself, I accept myself, I accept myself. I love and accept myself exactly as I am. Louise Hay, what is that, 1980 something? But what I've been finding lately works for me is just to talk to whatever's rising up in me, that part that feels like lack of self-worth, usually because something triggered on the outside, right? Like not enough money came in when it was supposed to, or something in a relationship, whatever it is for myself. This is how I do shadow work. I close my eyes, you know, nobody else has to be around, but I've got such a strong hermit in my chart to go, it's okay, sweetheart, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. In other words, if you've got a crying child that doesn't know its worth, right, what do you say to it? Well, you know, at your age, it's understandable that self-esteem. So you don't talk self-esteem to a 5-year-old. You go, it's okay, honey. It's okay to feel this way. This will pass. I love you, right? It's like, this is a thing we're playing through. Let's just let this song play through, and we'll hit those happier times again. I promise, right? You can feel that. I'm gonna pull a self-acceptance card. Pardon the cough. I'm probably detoxing from the weekend. I had a lot of fun. Sushi, sake, tequila. So I had a lot of Pinot Grigio. It was a lot. But yesterday I didn't touch a thing. I just stayed in bed all day in Brooklyn. It was lovely. So my masters, can you please clarify for us this center card here, this creation with self-acceptance? What's this about? What do they need, this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising sign? Yeah, that there's pain there, all right? So that there's something about accepting the pain. Now, how do you accept the pain? Well, the first thing you do is not numb it. You don't reject it. You think of it as a hurt child inside of yourself, even if it's physical pain. Like I get lower back stuff a lot. I was a dancer for decades when I was younger. I still sort of have a dancer's body. I've been doing more yoga lately, though, honestly, the past 10 years. So that thing, when physical pain comes up, what I do is I listen to it and I give it a voice. Not that I necessarily verbalize it again, who's around, like not in public ever. Virgo, cross your legs. But that thing, okay, honey, I'm here. Talk to me. It's okay. And sometimes my lower back will go, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm like, oh, we're tired. Lower back is support. Let me give you the support we need. What do you need? A nap? What do you want? How can I serve you, right? So to even talk to the cells in your body as though they are sentient beings, because they are, that they are in pain, to have an internal conversation with them and ask them what they need. And if you have any sort of intuitive or body consciousness, in other words, conscious of what's the energies that are going on in your body, you can literally get information from the cells and help them, give them what do you need. So that perhaps for this type of reading, it's like, well, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? I'm going to pull a clarifier for this lack of self-worth here. Tarot, please, my gods, what can they do? What do they need to heal or deal with this lack of self-worth. It's a decision you have to make. Hokmah, it's a life-changing decision too. Eight of Blades, I know, is not often portrayed very prettily in other decks, which is why I prefer this one. You're really looking at that, you know, in the Rider-Waite person in bed with the swords, and it's like nightmares and can't sleep at night. But what is that usually about? Decision. Darling, you've got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? That there may be a decision past, or a decision present, or a decision coming that may be influenced by this lack of self-worth. But I'm really getting clearer on that, and I will pull an angel card for that as well. That it's like you have to decide, you know. It's like we wait for things to change in the outside before we feel better, but you can make the decision, the life-changing decision, like the word incision. Something can't be uncut, right? But no, I'm making the mental decision to deal with this lack of self-worth, because by definition, my true self, my spiritual self, my soul, my higher power, higher self, whatever you want to call it, my divine self, is free of that. So this is about the character that I'm playing in this life, and I'm going to make a decision. And honestly, the decision is to begin with that Ace of Flames, to deal with that internal pain with self-acceptance. But like I said, let's pull an angel for that. My angels, please clarify this this lack of self-worth with the decision of the Eight of Blades for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising Sun, please. One card, please. Well, to focus on it. That's the decision. The decision is to focus on that. Really, you want me one more? Okay, they want me, since, oh, I see, they want symmetry. I am going to pull a master, one from the masters, that Chuck Spezzano, for this music and play. Don't know why they wanted me to do that last, but let's find out. My masters, please, then let's top off this reading. One last card for this Aries collective Sun, Moon, Rising Sun. What do they need from this full moon to new moon next concerning this music? And this Six of Flames, which is a very victorious, playful energy. It's usually called the card of victory, although it's different in this deck. What do they need for this balanced play with music? Please, a clue, a tip, a hint. What's this about? Oh, fear of commitment. Fear of commitment, right? Where the person is offering their love. The guy's offering the love. The girl's like, I'm going to lock you in chains. Oh, no, that's coming out of his. No, that's coming out of her head, right? That's an interesting thing. Oh, that's what she's seen as a ball and chain. That's what it is. Yeah, yeah. So he's like, I love you. I love you. I want us to be together. And she's like, oh, I love you like a ball and chain. Eurythmics. Go look it up. Go Google it. So as I tune to that, notice the coughing. It's sort of like letting go, coughing something up. That to just, if you can make this playful, if you can let the music play, he won't get away. Again, for fear of commitment. That this is a phase that you're going through. This is a song that's playing, and absolutely, if you just play along and keep it light, you might find that this fear of commitment is, of course, connected, now I get why they wanted me to do this, to this pain, this internal pain, and this lack of self-worth. That though the fear of commitment, you might think the other, and again, this isn't necessarily about commitment to another person. This can be about committing to yourself, to say, oh, I'm just going to play this out and let this song play out. Let's play out this phase that I am in. Because, you know, waning and dark moon ain't no joke. I mean, neither is new and full if you know what you're doing. Now, look, I'm a witch. If you don't know that already, maybe you're new to my channel. If so, I'm a witch. And a professional intuitive. What I mean by professional intuitive is this is what I do for a living. I mean, literally, down to going food shopping. It's like I feel, I have my list, but I feel. I just don't bargain hunt. Kind of try and let my intuitive field guide, right? And then the mental, the mind just decides. But for you to really get that there's an ability here for healing for you to actually give up what? And because you got 3 womp womp cards, it would be the releasing of this, oh, I put them in the wrong position, the lack of self-worth, the fear of commitment, and the pain. And how you do that, the lack of self-worth, is by focusing on the decision to do just that, to deal with that, to sort of give that up piece by piece. And that this self-acceptance, right, is how interesting with this Ace of Flames, to really get into that. I want to accept myself and accept my pain, because I'm not My pain. I'm not my pain. My pain is something that is teaching me something. It is a component. It's a piece of my path. It's on the path of true love of myself. How do you truly, unconditionally, divinely love yourself? Say, it's okay. It's okay that I feel pain. It's okay that I've been through things. And then you realize, you look back and go, oh my God, none of those things took me out of the game. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still in this body. I'm still a soul. I'm an eternal being playing this, right? So it's okay if you're playing the hermit a little bit, because I put that together with this: be willing to express your love. Be willing to express your love to the part of you that is afraid of commitment, whether to someone, something, a particular path, or fear of commitment to playing and loving yourself. That hermit, to express the love to that part of you that is in pain and that is dealing with a lack of self-worth. Cool. Because you're wonderful. You're a divine child in a human body, regardless of age. I don't care, first wave, second wave, third wave. If you don't know what that is, go Google it. This feels like something that you can do this waning moon. Yes, there's some inner child shadow work going on, but if you're willing to take hermit phase, and that doesn't mean you lock down for 2 weeks. It just means that you kind of pull back to recharge yourself, to go within, and to, oh, interesting, focus intently, right? It says focus intently on interior work, and you got the card of focus there. Yeah, with self-acceptance, it makes sense. Cool. I wish you the very best, and may the Aries collective sun, moon, rising signs from this full moon to new moon next be blessed with all that they need to grow, to heal, to become, to accept, to play, to decide, and to be willing to express the love that they need to themselves, and maybe even for others, for the well-being of all. That I am now, and so it is. Have a really, really good 2 weeks, my Aries friends, and please do like and subscribe. Help me build my channel. I want to make this the very best and the very blessed that it can be, and your participation is greatly, greatly appreciated. So, for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.